Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about Palantir Technologies and why the UK Health Department has cancelled Palantir by ending their contract with them. Then we will talk about an exciting PLTR stock catalyst in the form of another Palantir investment into a solar-powered aircraft developer named Skydweller Aero. Also, I will give you an update on BlackSky, which is another one of Palantir's investments which just got listed on the public stock market today. Next, we will talk about how the PLTR stock price has outperformed its competitors recently, and then we will conclude by talking about insider selling for Palantir shares. Go and smash the like button if you own PLTR stock. Comment your thoughts down below about any of these stock news stories. Remember to turn on all subscription notifications so you can stay informed, and now let's get right into today's stories. According to Bloomberg, the UK government is ending their deal with Palantir Technologies after receiving criticism from various privacy groups about the lack of transparency on how Palantir was even granted the contract in the first place. Specifically, the Department of Health and Social Care, also known as the DHSC, has until the end of September to use Palantir's technology before the contract is officially over. Now, I know this sounds bad on the surface, but the government is not ending all of Palantir's contracts, which is great news because Palantir has other existing contracts with the UK government, which would include contracts with their cabinet office as well as their Ministry of Defense. After this news was posted, Palantir then made a statement through a spokeswoman who said this, and I quote, "The Adult Social Care Dashboard is an add-on to the existing NHS contract and will transition to a month-to-month basis from September 2021. Palantir will look out for further opportunities to work together with the DHSC, including their upcoming tenders." End quote. And so far, a spokesperson from the DHSC has declined to comment on this matter. Basically, the UK government is using sleight of hand here because technically they are ending Palantir's contract at the end of this month to appease the privacy groups, but the government will most likely simply renew the contract with Palantir on a month-to-month basis. However, these privacy groups hate Palantir because Palantir has access to people's personal private data, even though the data has been mixed and nixed of any personal identification. But remember, that was just my opinion. Other sources say that the DHSE will no longer do business with Palantir at all, but that is the exact opposite of what we heard the Palantir spokeswoman say, so comment your thoughts down below on this matter. In our next story, we have Palantir Technologies investing into a very innovative company named Skydweller Aero, which is an aerospace startup that is developing autonomous solar-powered aircraft that never need to land because of their perpetual flight technology. So far, the company has raised approximately $40 million, and the company has entered into a partnership with Palantir so this company can use Palantir's Foundry platform. Skydweller Aero is trying to focus on telecommunications, government operations, and emergency services, which are all great markets to be in, and Palantir sees great innovation and opportunity in this company, and I really hope that they're right. The co-founder of Skydweller Aero had to say this about the partnership with Palantir, and I quote, "Palantir is the best at creating value from your data. Whether it's putting data into their system to create operational insights for how we may fly our aircraft, putting data into understanding the sensing systems that are coming off of our aircraft and what those might provide, or to understand what's coming through the networks in the aircraft." End quote. Palantir is also going to get loads of data from this company because that company's aircraft will be used in geospatial intelligence as well as government surveillance. So this should be great news for the PLTR stock price either now or in the future when the investment into this company pays off. Speaking of Palantir, Alex Karp, who is the Palantir Technologies CEO, has recently sold a large chunk of his PLTR shares recently. According to a Form 4 filing from the US Securities and Exchange Commission, Karp sold over 1.9 million PLTR shares at a price of $26.06, which gave him almost $50 million. However, this should not worry you because Karp possesses over 6.4 million PLTR shares that is currently worth over $170 million. And I don't blame him for selling some shares because PLTR has performed pretty well compared to their industry and indexes. For example, Palantir Technologies stock gained over 0.5%, and while that may not seem impressive, it performed better than the S&P 500, which fell 0.77%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which fell 0.78%. Meanwhile, the PLTR stock price has also outpaced its competitors like Tyler Technologies, which fell 1.22%, Cognizant Technology Solutions, which fell 0.29%, while the overall industry almost fell 2%. Now, if you are not already an investor or someone who owns Palantir stock or PLTR shares, then this is a quick summary of what you need to know, and everything's on screen, and I'm just going to go over this very quickly before we start our next news story. Palantir provides software and data analytics solutions to governments and commercial clients so they can make better decisions using the data that they already have access to. Palantir has around 169 customers who spend millions of dollars for their technology and their services on a contractual basis, which means they have very steady revenue income. Speaking of their revenues have jumped 49% year over year, and their commercial revenue grew by 90% from 2020. They are basically a profitable company already, depending on how you interpret profitability, and they plan to become the default operating system for governments around the world. Palantir Technologies is a stock that I report on, which I also own, and I don't really own a lot of stocks that I tend to report on, but Palantir is one of my favorite, not only to report on, but also the income that it gives me and the future potential that it holds. Another great stock that I want to point out to you is Upstart Holdings. If you got this stock when it was first listed, you would be up massively. Right now, the price targets for this stock are $160 as the low, $234 as the average, and $300 as the high. But again, right now the stock price is around $300, but it's too high. You definitely want to wait for the stock to pull back. Similar to Palantir, this is an artificial intelligence focused company, but this company uses its AI to calculate default risk for loans rather than using traditional credit scores. This company takes on minimal risks through its loans, and their revenues have grown by over 1,000% in their second quarter, and the revenues came in at $194 million. Their banking partners have originated over 280,000 loans for them for the quarter, plus they already are a fully profitable company because they are taking in $36.3 million of operating income. Right now, management is aiming for $750 million in total for this fiscal year, so this is a great rapidly developing and growing company to get invested in once they get a pullback. In a previous video, I talked about Palantir Technologies' investment into another geospatial intelligence company named BlackSky, which just made its public debut today. Palantir has been expanding their partnerships with companies who will allow Palantir to use their data, and this company has been a huge help to Palantir for that exact reason. Palantir also invested into this company along with many others so they can diversify their holdings and money and eventually double their investments. Palantir is clearly a future-focused company, and if you want to invest into BlackSky, which has recently gone public, and they control satellites, the ticker symbol is BKSY. Palantir wants to also establish itself as a cornerstone for companies who use aerospace technology because of how lucrative that market is. What many people don't know is that BlackSky and Palantir actually have a history of working together. So in Palantir's eyes, this is actually an extremely safe investment for them because they already know how capable and reliable BlackSky is. Even Palantir's COO had this to say about BlackSky, and I quote, "BlackSky is a strong partner to Palantir and reinforces our shared goals around compressing decision chains for operational users at the edge." Palantir is also using these companies, along with Skydweller Aero, which we talked about earlier, to establish itself and its technologies in new industries beyond just government contracts. And again, we have to remember that in the future, the majority of Palantir's revenue is not going to come from the government sector, but instead it's going to come from commercial clients. The best part is by Palantir investing into BlackSky, BlackSky going public, and Palantir investing into Skydweller Aero, this has actually created a lot of social media and news around Palantir, which has boosted the stock price some. The proof of this is that since the beginning of August, the PLTR stock price has risen more than 19%. But what do you all think? Comment your thoughts down below. Remember to like this video right now, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.